It's time to talk about Blizzard and the latest lawsuit, or I should say, an injunction win against World of Warcraft's most famous, or one of the most famous, private servers known as Turtle WoW. Now, we've been following this story since we first heard about it, which was not that long ago. I think it was like a couple of months ago, here or there. But Blizzard has officially won an injunction against vanilla World of Warcraft private server known as Turtle WoW. Now, Turtle WoW has already been slapped with a cease and desist from World of Warcraft, aka Blizzard. And this is a big moment. This is a big moment because Turtle WoW is a massive private server. I think they have a lot of people that play on this server. But I got to be real with you, and I've said this many times before. As much as I've participated every now and then in the past, I mean a long time ago, obviously, in private servers, at the end of the day, you guys have literally zero leg to stand on. I'm sorry. Like, I know people are like, don't defend Blizzard. I'm not. I'm just telling you how reality works, okay? Private servers stand zero chance, almost nearly zero chance in any capacity against the legal actions of a company that owns the MMORPG that you are trying to make a private server for. Flat out, right? If they want to come down on your server, they will. Right. And with Turtle WoW, it was basically allowed to exist for as long as it has because they allowed it. Right. Blizzard allowed it. Now, for some reason, Blizzard is no longer allowing it. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Hopefully they explain that to us in a second. But you're only allowed to exist for as long as the company is going to want you to exist. After that, well, I mean, you're cooked. Right. If they want to come after you at any point and say, stop doing whatever you're doing, well, they can, and they will. So let's talk about this situation and see what's going on. So we got that one expansion with all the alcohol-dependent pandas, but private servers like the popular Turtle WoW are still the only place players can find the WoW equivalent to old-school RuneScape, the classic game, but with new stuff. That said, while some private servers for other games have gotten the go-ahead from the right people, Blizzard hasn't been gentle with these sort of projects in the past. Before World of Warcraft's official Classic Realms, serving up the vanilla version of the game, there was the private server Nostralia. I remember this one. Nostralius or whatever it's called. Yeah, I remember this. This got taken down by them not that long ago, which got into legal trouble before long. Now there is Turtle WoW, which has gotten hit with a lawsuit last September. And on Friday, a U.S. District Court judge ruled in Blizzard's favor. Now, I see what you guys are saying in the chat. And I was going to bring this up, but yes, I agree. I think what's happening here is that Blizzard, when they were Blizzard, they didn't care about this stuff because they just wanted to create like the biggest community known to man in gaming, especially MMORPGs. They knew that by allowing these servers to exist, they're probably actually making more money than they are losing money because it's going to get people ingrained in the game in a way that actually may want to make them pay for a sub back when the game was actually good. Now, unfortunately, that may not be the case. But still, most people that were on private servers actually had a paying sub. I know because I remember playing on a private server and I had a paying sub. I just wanted to experience certain things that the private server was able to give you that the main server couldn't give you, right? So most people had paying subs and Blizzard really didn't care back then. But then Blizzard obviously got absorbed by Activision. And that's kind of when, you know, things really started to go downhill. But I got to be real with you. These lawsuits, all of these takedowns that we've been seeing lately, this is because now they're owned by Microsoft. And Microsoft does not play that shit. Microsoft is not caring about building a community. They don't give a fuck, right? They're going to take down these servers. And that's when it really started, right? That's when it really started. When Microsoft owned or bought out Activision Blizzard, That's when all of this nonsense really started, right? So the judge has ruled in Blizzard's favor. Let's find out what's going on. You can find the court documents online, and they detail an order to cease and desist. Basically, the devs have been ordered to stop developing, programming, coding, operating, updating, supporting, maintaining, etc. the server. Notably, it also prohibits the developers from passing along their code to facilitate a successor. That might seem cheeky, but these servers rarely just lay down and die. Another document states that Blizzard and the defendants have reached a settlement, which is expected to result in a resolution of the action in its entirety. Though the specifics are not shared, the terms of the parties' settlement agreements are confidential. The document reads, however, the settlement is conditioned upon certain actions that are required to be taken by certain parties and non-parties over the next several weeks. Guys, Turtle WoW is done. I'm sorry. Like, I understand that people are not going to want to hear that. I also understand that Turtle, even if they don't pass off, the coding and everything from Turtle WoW to somebody else, somebody's going to pick up the mantle. All right. The thing with these private servers is that they're never going to just flat out die. All right. That's just not how it works. But Turtle WoW, it's dead. I'm sorry. Like, I know that's going to upset a lot of people. There's a lot of people that use this server. This was one of the most famous private servers. And I feel like Microsoft is targeting private WoW because, they're targeting Turtle WoW because they want to send a message to these smaller private servers, right? They want to send a message saying that if we could take down Turtle WoW, we could take down all of you. You could take down the smaller servers. We can easily take every single one of you down. I think they're doing it, and they're sending a message with Turtle WoW. They're probably going to make Turtle WoW make a statement openly saying that, they've come to the agreement to shut everything down and that what they did was unlawful or illegal. Basically, some form of admission. But I think that's what this is. I think that they're trying to send a message out to all these other servers that may exist before or after Turtle WoW. But shortly after the lawsuit was filed, the Turtle WoW team asked Blizzard for a fan server licensing framework. While the server didn't charge a fee for entry or technically have a cash shop, it did allow players to donate in exchange for in-game rewards. Fans of the server are not pleased. I get that intellectual property should be respected, but Turtle WoW is giving us what Blizzard won't. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Like, again, I get that people listen, people have it in their mind. They're like, Blizzard's not giving us this content. Somebody else is giving us this content. Why are you taking it away? Bro, they're giving you the content that you want from the developers. They won't give it to you, but they're still using the game that the developers made and their framework. If you really wanted the content that a developer won't give you, but somebody else will, then you would have them make their own thing. And the best example is Power World, right? Think about it. Pokemon wasn't giving Pokemon fans what they wanted or what they were asking for, which was an online Pokemon game, right? Like a real online world Pokemon game. Power World saw this gap in the market, and they said, okay, we're going to do it, and we're going to put it out there. And the fucking game did gangbusters. Now imagine if the Power World developers said, okay, well, we're just going to take a current Pokemon game and we're going to make a private server for it, and we're going to mod it to be multiplayer, and we're going to give you what Nintendo's not giving you. How long do you think that would have lasted? How long do you really think that would not have lasted long at all, right? That would have been taken down immediately. So Power World did it the right way, right? And the funny thing is, even though they did it the right way, they still got into legal trouble. But it doesn't matter. Their game is not going to die because of it, right? We're seeing them win left and right. The point is, yeah, not even 5 minutes. It would not have even lasted that long. So the point is, I understand the frustration. I get it, okay? Because I was a big-time World of Warcraft fan, and I walked away early on once I started seeing the transition from what WoW was, all the way up to Wrath of the Lich King to eventually what it became in Mist of Pandaria and afterwards. Like, I just walked away. I'm like, fuck this game. It's over. Like, I don't give a fuck, right? People need to realize that, yes, I get that you're frustrated with the developers, but they still own the fucking game. So you can't legally, in any capacity, have a leg to stand on if you're like, well, you won't give us what we want, so Somebody else is doing it with your game. How do you think that's going to, do you think in any world that that's actually going to hold up in court? Do you think that anybody's going to take that seriously? Of course not. They're going to shoot that shit down immediately and you're never going to win. You have never won, right? I don't know if there's a single private server that has ever won on any legal ground completely without sacrificing something somewhere somehow. I don't think it's ever happened. Especially the bigger the game, the less likely that's going to happen, right? So when he says that they're pissed and they're like, well, they're giving us what Blizzard won't, it doesn't matter. I would gladly pay a subscription for something similar to Turtle WoW, but it simply doesn't exist. Then you got to move on. You got to move on. You had your moment with Turtle WoW. It existed for a long time, right? But at this point, you got to move on. It is what it is. You're not going to get it anymore. I'm sorry. I know it's not fair, but you got to fucking move on. It's sad, but it's true. So, unfortunately, for the people who play Turtle WoW, if you're in this chat right now, if you're watching this video, definitely let me know what you think about this. But ultimately, to think that the moment they filed this lawsuit that Turtle WoW stood any chance, I think was a fool's errand. I really do. I remember saying that when I first heard about the lawsuit. I said that there's no fucking way in God's green earth that Turtle WoW is ever going to come out on top with this. But there were people that still had hope. And hey, listen, you want to have hope. There's nothing wrong with that. But you got to live in reality at some point. And reality's here. So that's just what it is, man. Turtle WoW, it's over. Like I don't know what their agreement is. I don't know what any of this is, to be honest with you, because it's all confidential. But if it's anything like this private server, Nostril, whatever it's called, Rias, it's over. It's done. That's it. It's done. It's dead. So RIP Turtle WoW. You were around for a long time. And I would be curious to see who is going to pick up the mantle. Because like I said, there's always somebody. There's always somebody who is going to pick up the mantle and test the waters. I also wonder if Turtle WoW had to pay any money to Microsoft and Blizzard. I wonder. I don't know. We're not going to know. Everything's confidential. So it is what it is. So let me know.